on a later date. I don't want to go in on those schools, but I feel like I should have considered going to a JUCO more than I did, committing right away to a D3. Because when I went on the visit to the D3, they were pretty much they were pretty much highlighting the glitz and glamour of a not so glamorous situation. So I went to a school in Iowa. I don't really want to out them. If you know, you know. During springtime in that little town, there's a lot of flowers everywhere, and they're known for that. And it was just beautiful. They're an Under Armour school, so they were really pushing that, and like they did the classic last name on the locker and had my uniform hanging up in there, which is pretty cool for a D3 school. So that kind of like pulled me in right away, and I was like, oh shoot, I want to go there. Didn't really put much thought into it and committed. And throughout the summer, I was kind of rehabbing from a cracked patella, um, and that's a pretty grueling. There's a lot worse injuries out there, but for me, not really being injured, that was a really grueling process. So I came back, went to that team's camp over the summer, and found out very quickly that D3 basketball was not for me. They made it sound like I was the guy that was gonna suit up varsity right away, which I'm willing to work for a position on the team. I'm not expecting to get handed anything, but they didn't explain to me that they were bringing in 25 other freshmen.
Oh,
So yeah, it was just kind of one of those deals where we were promised a few things, and they didn't really follow through with some of that. And we on a kind of a busted knee, I was trying to play basketball 12 hours a day for a whole week, and it was kind of a mess. So I decided that wasn't really for me. I knew I said I wasn't going to get into it, but I kind of did. But that's that's a little bit of my basketball backstory, whether you like it or not. So
I guess
so
the only question I have for you, Josh, as a sports media personality, is what did Kozad do in the transfer portal to convince you to switch over to a Southwest or not Southwest Conference? Where are they?
they same
District
conference
rival.
as Minden.
Oh, are they? Oh, yeah. So then
Yeah.
a conference rival. I mean, you must have gotten the bag from the Haymakers.
So
Get a
so they did.
YMCA pass or something?
No, they have a they have a wellness center that's pretty much like the YMCA, and my mom bought a membership for me, which is very nice. So I was there all the time shooting. They did slip me $10,000 cash, but this is the first time I'm allowed to bring it up. It's been at least 4 years since I've graduated, so I don't know if they're going to do anything about it now.
That is the
But
title of the first episode. I accepted $10,000 from Coast.
everybody's going to be like, "What is
Was
this?
it a
What is
McDonald's
wing
bag or
nights?"
what did you get it in? Was it in the Casey's like pizza box or something?
Yeah, it was a Casey's pizza box. Yeah, they sent that over, and I couldn't turn that down. But I don't know episode one if you want me getting into the Minden and Kozad game. That was a pretty interesting time, but yeah, we could keep that for like a later time. I don't know what you guys want to get into the rest of
I was gonna say
the
I want to do a
episode.
deep dive on Josh Denny, a future reference. This is awesome. This is what I really want to do.
No, but yeah, that was such a fun time. I was living in a rental house by myself at age 18, an hour away from my family, and it was such a weird deal. I wonder what my peers at Cozad were thinking, like that just met me, and they knew I was living by myself, and they were probably like, "Why are you doing this? Like, what's the deal?" But yeah, we could definitely get into that on a later date. I don't want to take away from the pilot episode. Um, so I have a question for both of you guys. I already have my answer. What is your guys' white whale for this podcast? Like, what guest would you want to get? Like, cream of the crop, whoever.
It's tough. because like part of you wants to be like realistic, so I can only think of like someone that could come on like now, but obviously like anything can happen, like any like size, personality or anything like that. I don't know. Tate, do you have one off the top of your head? I need like a minute to consider.
That's a good point because you want to be realistic, but also you want like ideally who would you want to have? I think honestly a good guy to get would be Tom Crop. Just because I think it's a combination of realistic and also someone who has NBA playing experience, and then he coached for what 2 decades at UNK. So, and he has just a well of stories about because he was drafted into the NFL, the ABA, and the NBA back in
That's
like
crazy.
1975 or
That is
1974,
different.
maybe. He played alongside a lot of like legends, Elvin Hayes, Wes Unseld, the center for the Chicago Bulls in the 70s. I can't remember his
Oh,
name.
Artis Gilmore.
Yep, Artis Gilmore.
Yeah.
And like he's still personal friends with those guys. I don't know if they're still alive or not, but he talked very highly of all of them except for Elvin Hayes. He hates Elvin Hayes. So Elvin Hayes,
Hey,
if you're out there, screw you.
hey, Tom
Let it be
Crop.
known we are an
I
anti Alvin Hayes podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, Elvin just rolled over in his grave, but Tom Crop, if you're listening to this, on wing nights, we really want you. I know these two guys were in your class, and I've never met you before. I have some questions for you. Come on the show, please.
Come on the show.
Um, okay, so my white whales. Um, I really like that term. I don't know, it's kind of goofy, but so my favorite player of all time, Kevin Garnett. That's definitely not realistic, but Kevin Garnett would be a long term. Like I would, I don't know. I would pee myself a little. And then I was a NASCAR guy when I was younger. Dale Jr. Jr. was one of my favorites, and somebody we could get right now, Tanner Dungan. I want him. I want him on the show immediately.
Easy one.
Uh, yeah. You were just at Thomas Rhett with him, right?
Yeah, yeah. Random Thursday night escapade. Got back at like
Boy,
2 in the morning.
boys' night right before the graduation.
Dude, it was big. You can only YOLO. You can only F it till F it we ball like so much in your life. So that was the moment where I was like, you know what? Let's ball. Let's do it.
No, yeah, that yeah, Hallie went to Thomas Rhett too.
Hallie is
What
Josh's
was
wife, by the way.
Oh yeah, fair.
yeah,
Fan of
yeah,
the show.
yeah,
Fan of the show.
Yep.
yeah, she's listening right now.
That's good. That's good.
She's not here, but yeah. How was that concert? Did you wear your cowboy hat?
I wore my cowboy boots, so I was
Oh,
just boot scooting my way around the whole show at the CHI Health Center. Nothing screams country like Omaha, Nebraska, especially right next to the river. So yeah, it was a good time. $10 beers. What more could you possibly want?
yeah, going out of there in debt. That is amazing. That is
No, it's
such
all
a
credit card. It's all credit card. I'm not paying it. Come on.
all right, all right, all right. That's yeah, and
That's
yeah,
finances with wing nights.
yeah. And Austin, I also want to congratulate you on graduating from UNK. That is such an accomplishment. Although I do think it takes more courage to drop out of school and leech leech onto your family painting business. and but yeah, I applaud you for taking the safe route and just going through school, going through the motions. Congrats, man.
Oh, wow, you make it sound really exhilarating. I appreciate that. Well,
Yeah.
I don't have my doctorate at UNK like Tate does, so he just loves hanging around every single year that he can see like a new crop of nursing school students pop in. He's like, oh boy, it's time.
Yeah, it's like the Matthew McConaughey. Every year I get a year older, but the freshmen stay the same age.
Tate, good
Uh,
question for you. Are you ready for the greatest seg so far in this show's history?
sure.
Who is the Wembanyama of nursing school students that you saw walk in for the first time?
Oh, I honestly don't know many of the incoming class, to be honest, but if I had to pick someone in my own class,
You can't pick yourself.
I can't pick I wasn't gonna pick myself,
Because
but
this is I can't repute this source. I don't know if it's factual, but I thought I saw a tweet that said Wembanyama said that LeBron James is the best all around basketball prospect of all time.
I would
Because
agree with that.
people are calling Wembanyama that, and I think he deterred it. But I'd have to go back. I'd have to check my sources.
Yeah,
Have
I
you
would.
seen that guy's feet? Have you
Yeah,
seen
they're
Webby's
huge.
feet? They're insane.
I would disagree with saying Wembanyama should be as hyped as he is for one reason alone, and it's the fact that he's like 7'4". To be honest, there just hasn't been a lot of guys in the NBA above 7'1", 7'2" that have a very long career due to just their anatomy.
But
It's just
have you seen how he moves? He moves differently than all the other dudes that were 7 foot. Like we're not talking about like Yao Ming, who like his knees just like corrupted him at the end of his career. Like he moves fluidly. Like he looks like a 6'4" guy the way he moves at 7'4".
How much does he
yes.
weigh?
He beefed up quite a bit because whatever his like primary school or whatever was, like he was a twig then, and I think he was like 6'7" or 6'8" like a couple years ago, and now he's been playing in this French league, and he's what 19 or 20 or 18 is one of those, and I think he's put on some weight since he joined like their pro league. He's not gonna like obviously blow you away with like gigantic like Kevin Durant like muscles, but he will definitely have like the ability to put on some weight when he gets into especially a Texas program when he joins San Antonio.
Yeah, he needs to be able to handle them big women down there. So he better put on some size.
Okay, realistically, barring an injury, what do you think year one Wembanyama's stat line looks like?
'That's tough.
30, 12, and 11.